Welcome to Realty Real Talk. I am Ashley O'Borney, one of your hosts, and I have
Deanna Rowdy, also one of the hosts.
And we have two special guests from our Cole Banker office, Thad Anderson and Tanner Pinyan. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so today we're going to get to know you guys a little bit more and learn about your background in real estate and how you got here, all that fun. So who wants to start? Actually, I want to know, how did you guys meet?
Funny story.
I love funny stories.
We met at a real estate brokerage. I wanted to think of something cooler, but no, it was, we've both been in, I think he's been maybe like 6 months more than me. I kind of came into a recruiter into the industry, and he was teaching me a lot of things at a previous brokerage. And then Tanner just really inspired me to get my real estate license. And then next thing you know, here we are going full time.
Okay, so that's a nice way to say it. What the truth is what happened was this. Okay, he was recruited to this brokerage in a different role, not a real estate agent role. And he sees me in the front office, and I'm having an absolute breakdown over a deal. I mean, I'm just going back and forth. It's a big FHA deal. We cannot get any repairs done, and I'm dragging my client to the finish line. But we did it. We finished and stuff. So he saw me at my absolute low, and then I guess I inspired him. And that's what happened.
And Dad's like, I want to do that.
He wanted some of this. He wanted to also feel the pain, the burn.
And then he just breaks down things on a whiteboard too, and he's writing it all down. And I'm like,
it looks so fun, even at the worst moment, right? Which I think is kind of a theme with you. But so let's get a little bit of what your backgrounds are, and maybe how you got into real estate, because I feel like it's so interesting to hear the stories of how people actually get into real estate. So Tanner, we can start with you. And,
Yes.
What did you do before real estate? How did you get into it?
Right. So I'm from Lincoln. Unlike Thad. Thad's not from around here, but we still accept him here in Nebraska. So I'm from Lincoln, went to a small Christian school, go Patriots. Then I went to Peru State, go Cats. I was in the Nebraska Air National Guard. Well, anyway, when I was at Peru, my brother and my father and I, we flipped a couple houses, got some rentals, and then I'm in sociology class one day, right? So am I paying attention? Of course not. I'm not paying attention. I'm scrolling through Zillow, and I stumble upon it. 10 single-family homes for sale, a package deal. And I said, well, I mean, that's going to go quick, right? Psych, got in there, first offer, accepted. What? So then I found myself with all these rental properties and stuff. And so after I graduated college with my degree in criminal justice, I got my real estate license and then I joined a brokerage, and I met Thad shortly later, and then our story began, but that's how I got into real estate. I do other stuff now.
Do you still own those 10 rentals now?
So we've been selling them off one at a time, been fixing them up and selling them off. But I think probably so I had 3 to begin with, and then the package of 10. So now I have 9 or 10 total. So yeah, still got some, and trying to manage.
That's like a, jumping all in to real estate.
Right.
It's not like, hey, I just got my license and then I started, It was like, no, I bought 10 and then I got into real estate.
Right. And so what happens, if people don't know about real estate, it's kind of hard to get your first home or your first rental and stuff. But once you get one, and then you can build some equity and stuff, then you can start rolling pretty quickly. You can start getting a few more properties at a higher rate. So yeah, that's how we kind of did it and stuff. But I can't take any credit, can only take credit from my brother, my father, and other relationships, just knowing people, just having connections and stuff. Because it wasn't too much longer later is that I had bought a trailer, so like a trailer home. And then the guy came up to me and said, well, I'm moving to Virginia for the love of my life or something. Will you buy my 7-plex? And I said, sure, I guess. So it turns out it was a hospital that had been converted into a 7-plex. So anyway, that's enough about me. Thad, go ahead, or else I will talk for the next 30 minutes.
We want to hear about that.
I didn't know that story. Well, unfortunately, my story isn't as exciting. I had an insurance agency for 7 years, and COVID just changed everything like everyone else. So basically met a couple of really big names in Lincoln and the community. And my aha moment was kind of like, we were out, having drinks at a bar, and he was just like, okay, if we pan everyone in this bar right now, how many people do you think would want to talk about insurance? I'm like, yeah, maybe 1 or 2. He's like, how many do you think would want to talk about real estate? He's like, 90%. So that was kind of my aha moment, where you're still helping people. You're still, doing the 1099 and being your own entrepreneur and business owner, except it's a little sexier sell than what I was doing previously. So as much as I love that industry, I think I really found my niche more in real estate. And I'm not going to lie, Tanner has helped a lot of times because we talk at least every day. And just things you run into, and we were talking last night, just scenarios you didn't think would exist. And then I realized like, oh, I applied that to real life just on my last transaction, because him and I will just talk things through. So both about 2 years in to the industry, but we do it full time.
So, I mean, I want to say you guys work a lot together, right? As agents. Did you guys know going into that you guys were going to end up working as closely as you guys are now? Or did that just kind of...
I had no clue I was going to be his second best usher in his wedding.
Yeah, that's true. I only knew him like probably a year. I'm like, you should be. Well, so my wife was trying to plan the wedding, and I was not participating as I should have been in the planning process. So we got down to a few months before. I was like, I need some ushers for this wedding. Will you be in my wedding and stuff? So yeah, it was fun. We did that and stuff. But we did. So you had your license only for like a month, and we ended up. We tried to do a deal together. I had this. It was this listing, and it was supposed to be the oldest house in Nebraska. They claimed it was built in 1864 or something. Super big house, but he brought the buyer on the transaction, and then
cash buyer,
out
of state,
$10,000 earnest money deposit, but then the sales price is only $85,000. I was like, okay, sure. Well, anyway, so what happened? You did your final walkthrough or something, and something happened.
Yeah, we're going through the final walkthrough. It's a dead freeze of Nebraska a couple of years ago when like I had to catch a flight to Michigan, and literally all the flights aren't going, and they're like, oh, we drove in, we're really invested in this house, going through the inspection walkthrough.
From Texas, right?
From Texas, yep. And not gonna name any names, but get like 90% of the way through, over 2-hour walkthrough. I think I had no heat, no electricity, no water.
No heat, nothing. Neither ran the roof.
We're pretty bundled up, and she's like, yeah, I think there's a Anderson in my family tree too with these boots that you might have an attachment to.
So they thought they were related or something.
Yeah. So that was another story. But we get to the garage, and she's like, yeah, that toboggan's missing.
The house was full of stuff, by the way. It was just like full of thousands of belongings of personal.
A lot of things. I said, oh, no worries. Like, let me call. We'll find out. We ended up losing the deal over the toboggan. Like 2 days before closing.
Well, in reality, though, like we lost the deal over the toboggan only ostensibly. What really happened was, and this is what happens in transactions a lot, it's not the toboggan, right? It's someone feels as if they're not getting a fair shake. Someone feels as if they're maybe getting something pulled over on them. And then, emotions fly and stuff. So it's really not like the technical part of the house, or the toboggan rather, but, the toboggan's a symbol for people, feeling as if they're, not getting.
Wish I would have found that toboggan.
Right. Dude, I was about to go buy a toboggan if I knew what that was, but I didn't know vocabulary from 1864. I was like, toboggan?
So I have to ask, did they lose their earnest deposit?
No, they got it back.
Oh,
no, I'm a very nice man.
That was a nice seller.
It took a little bit, and then it sold
That
right
was a nice
after.
seller.
It sold right after
It
to
was on
someone
a
else.
historical site and everything.
Yep, it was a historical home, so someone from Washington came in and bought it with cash, and
Oh, nice.
yep, sold like a month later. So
There is a story similar about buyer and seller fighting over a rock that was moved from the property, and then the deal just went kaput.
But I think that does say a lot about, I think in real estate, a lot of times it's numbers, right? Like, do the numbers work?
right.
But so much of it is really so emotional, and, how people feel in the deal and all of that. And I think you guys do such a great job of, understanding that element with your clients, because relationships are such a big part of what you guys do. And so I guess, how have you guys seen your ability to build those relationships with your clients be able to really help grow your business?
What I've found is great is like in real estate, those people that I've met, they've led to other opportunities for me, but also other opportunities to help them as well. So I knew some people that were involved in real estate, and then they had an ice cream store for sale or whatever, and so I acquired an ice cream store. And then, we saw a necessity for, people were flipping properties and stuff, so they needed roll-offs. So we started a roll-off company and stuff, just to be able to serve people, because and that's what I think you and I had really talked about trying to focus on was, trying to serve people, because it's so easy. And in an industry where you can make money pretty quick, you can stack bread at a quick rate, right? But it's so easy to become blinded by that. It's so easy to get caught up in the money instead of the people, right? I mean, that old saying that ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity, right? Is people get blinded by Benjamin.
I've not heard that one before.
Yeah, it's a good stuff. It's like, so people get so caught up in this stuff, is about, can I be victorious? Can I win stuff? Can I whatever? But when it comes down to it, it's like, this transaction will never close if you burn these bridges. if you're not willing to put the consumer first.
Well, first off, I will do a little plug to Coldwell Banker, because I will say before we came to Coldwell, we were 0 for 4 on transactions together.
We were.
Just weird things happened. But as soon as we got with Coldwell, it all came together. We're now like 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 on things, and the universe just kind of meshed things together. But with that being said, how we do work together well is he has a lot of those external relationships that you're talking about, whereas in my relationships right now, kind of being an out-of-stater, normally and not having as much as a footprint in Lincoln, but getting my name out there would be more internal relationships with just at our brokerage. So I've been getting a lot of calls lately just from other agents due to my reliability and trust factor of, hey, Thad, can you go do these open houses in Omaha? Hey, Thad, can you go show this buyer in Wahoo? Hey, my niece needs her house listed. Can we work out a referral on that? Because I know you'll take good care of her. So that's another big thing that I've stressed for me has been the internal relationships just within our own brokerage.
Yep.
True. He is a different breed. You are built in case for all the audience out there, this man competed against LeBron James in basketball.
We're throwing it out there.
He's got a high motor, so he knows how to battle in the post. He is for sure.
So you guys are doing extremely well as newer agents, rocking and rolling. You have listings and buy sides all the time. Is real estate what you thought it was going to be? You're still kind of fresh new 3 years ago. Like, is what you're doing now what you pictured, or did you feel it was going to be more of the selling sunsets type of vibe? Or
yeah, for me, I will be honest, it's not what I thought it was. I think there's a lot of similarities that transitioned well from insurance and my customer service background. So I think it was just a plug and play, helping with the public, except now you're handling people's largest investment, which is their home. So if I am playing the other side of the card and looking at what I didn't think it would be, I didn't realize the emotional attachment that would be so heavy with the home, and not even necessarily their home, but like their furniture and their curtains.
yeah,
So-
curtains are a big
Right.
deal.
So I kind of have to step myself away from the transaction, just realizing a lot of the public has put their heart and soul into this home. They've raised kids in this home. And maybe that furniture set, I just said to one of my sellers the other day, I was like, yeah, the buyer kind of wants, your master bedroom set or primary bedroom set. And she's just like, well, we got that when we were married, and I actually just remodeled everything and refurbished it and put $2,000 into refurbishing that bedroom set. So I'm not going to be selling that. I'm like, I understand that more, but whether it's a toboggan, whether it's a set, with me, I'm like, if I'm selling something, I'm getting rid of it. It's going to the Goodwill. I'm minimalistic. So I have to put myself into the seller or buyer's shoes a little bit.
Right. Yeah, for me, and definitely not what I expected. When you're a kid and you think your parents are the smartest person ever, and you think that they have everything in control, but in reality, when you become an adult, you realize that they're winging it most of the time. Most of the time that they are just encountering situations, and your parents are smart. Your parents do have knowledge, and that they're better equipped than you as the child to handle situations. Whereas, like the agents do have certain expertise and experience and stuff, but there's every situation's different. There's certain things that you just do not expect. Some people are hard to work with, both the client and the agent and stuff, but you just got to do your best, to serve that people, to see what do they really need? What are their needs? Can we meet those needs and stuff? But every day is a little different. Every transaction is different and stuff. And so you just got to be mentally tough. You got to have some grit every day.
I feel like you can be in real estate for 35 years and you still learn something new every transaction. So it's one of those businesses that never gets dull. That's for sure. It's always exciting. So now that you have had some transactions under your belt, what would you say to a new agent stepping in that is struggling and getting in the business and getting going? What qualities do you feel it takes to be successful as an agent?
I think putting your eggs into as many baskets as you can. There's just, Deanne and I have talked before, there's so many different facets of real estate. When someone asks you, how's real estate going? It's going great. It's going great in one aspect or another. It could be flipping a house. It could be commercial. It could be residential. It could be rental properties. There's so many different things. And so for me, I know I really just wanted to learn buyers as much as I could with we talked on our last podcast, so many open houses and just getting to learn things that way. But yeah, I think that's my answer.
Right. That's a good answer. My answer would be like, first is just being calm, and treating people with respect and stuff, because ultimately, like, people will forget what you said and people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou right there. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I think you have an example about how like, a transaction's gone super well. And then, one little hiccup where someone was unwilling to be reasonable, basically really affected it and left a bad taste in people's mouth and stuff. And, then a perfect transaction turns into a little bit sour towards and that can happen if you're really not going the extra mile and really trying. Sometimes it's out of sight of control. Sometimes it is. But just the only thing you can do is your best.
It's true. How far are you willing to cooperate? We've just noticed. So, I mean, that's a good advice to newer agents too, is you have to be very cooperative on all sides of things and just lay out the facts, lay out the options. I found people like options. And then probably last thing I could think of is just hustle. Like your first year, you really got to grind, especially if you're just brand new in the business and you don't have a center of influence. You have to throw yourself out there as many times as you can into the community. Right. And build those relationships organically to really know your own town and your own community.
And I think, even part of that too is you guys mentioned before about, on the relationship side, you're building that relationship with your client, but you guys have also talked about the importance of having good relationships with the other agents and how important that is. I think as a newer agent, especially, you're talking about all the things that it really takes to be a great agent. I think a lot of agents don't realize how important it is to have great relationships with agents in your office or even beyond your office to be able to get deals done. How do you guys see that, and how important do you guys think that has been in your business to build those relationships with other agents in the community?
I think it's community over competition. A lot of people from the outside, when they're getting into the industry, they think, wow, there's just so many real estate agents and you must have a lot of competition. And it's more like, when I see a certain agent's name come across my phone that I've had a transaction with or we've had good experiences, it's like, okay, we know we're going to work together. So it's really the opposite of competition, because we're all in a small sandbox. We all play together. We're all going to work together to get the seller's best interest in mind, the buyer's best interest in mind. So I really like forming those relationships with other agents as much as I can, whether it's a text, a call. I was telling him, like, some calls I have over an hour with certain agents. And then a lot of times that just works in your favor for your client.
It's kind of a unique thing because the agents you work with, you have to cooperate with them and get transactions done, but they are also kind of in competition with you. So it is sort of a unique relationship you have with other agents. But are you willing to put those differences aside? Are you willing to be cooperative and stuff? Because we all know that there's certain agents that are reasonable and want to get the transaction done and fulfill their clients' needs. And there's some that would rather put, just being victorious and, putting top producer on my Instagram bio. You know what I mean? Like I had 2 closing this week, and it's like, look at me, I'm going to go lease my white BMW. So, okay.
Take the ego out of it. Yes.
Well, we are getting close to wrapping up here. So what, last question, what's your next move? You got any big goals ahead for the rest of the year, or looking into 2025, anything that you've got on your agenda for doing in real estate?
I know I'd really like to get more into the investor space of things and get more eggs into the different baskets than just dealing with one side of real estate. So I know Tucker Pinyan, his brother, has helped me a lot, go into those real estate investor meetups, 70th and A at Grata on the first Monday of the month.
The first or second Monday, I don't know. We meet up a lot. We talk to a lot of people.
Yeah. And so I think really diving into more of an investor's mindset too. I mean, I even just met with the real estate commission the other day. Like, my biggest thing is honesty and integrity. If I'm going to be I don't want to look like I'm crossing any kind of lines, because as we know, an investor has your best interest in mind. As a realtor, you have your client's best interest in mind. Sure. So how can you make sure you're not puddling those two things? So even went to the commission, had a great meeting, learned a lot more of the backbone, the new paperwork coming out, things like that. And that's what I'm excited for, to be like Deanne here.
That's great. My next big moves is in my living room, I have a wall that my wife wants wallpaper on there. So it's really difficult to do. So I've really been pontificating about what am I going to do with this wallpaper. So that's kind of my next big step. But beyond that, just try new things. Try new things every day, meet new people, have fun, eat ice cream.
Speaking of ice cream, quick plug. What's your ice cream company called?
Lincoln Ice Cream Company, 70th and Vine.
Nice.
Come try it out.
Lots of delicious flavors.
I spent too much time there.
Where, how can people get a hold of you?
Me, I am on the majority of social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, most of those two. And I have a phone number, 402-525-2026. But I'm not going to give you my address because I don't want people showing up. But if you look it up on the county assessor, you might find it.
He has really nice acreage. All right.
Yeah, same thing. Instagram, Facebook, at Thad Anderson Realtor, CBNHS, 402-480-5717, named one of the top 50 real estate agents on social media in the
FaceTime
state
him.
of Nebraska.
Oh.
2 years ago with my mustache picture. They have yet to do it again, so I don't know if I still hold that title or not. When I was number 50.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for being on, and
thank you.
that's a wrap.
God bless America.
Thank you.